Okay, this one is called Wolves in Sheep's Clothing. God encouraged me to pass this word on as it's been bugging me for ages. Over the past few years, I've noticed banks and then high street shops adopt the Pride logo or sign, and I thought, what does banking or high street shopping have to do with services that are rolled out to everybody ordinarily? Are bank accounts biased towards same-sex couples? Of course they're not. And now, since the epidemic of people clapping on their doorsteps to beat the mainstream news for the NHS staff, the narrative has now spread into our communities with the advent of community-based shops that offer sometimes food for the needy and a place where the vulnerable can connect with people like themselves. And by vulnerable, I mean anybody who's autistic, elderly, learning difficulties, low income and homeless, and from war-torn countries and so on. Essentially, as I have been in these community-based cafes, community-based churches and community centres, I know that these people work hard and are a valued stop-off point for those most in need. And that can also be an object of their loyalties towards these places as well, and then they're more likely to actually play narratives with them. But what more worries me is the narrative they have to push out to get what I believe is their funding to run these services to these people. As like the news and the politicians, they are starting to run a mainline narrative such as making it known that they are supporting the Ukrainians and Pride or trans with colouring exercises, supporting Pride aimed at children, making the disabled hold up Ukrainian flags, supporting what I believe is an illegal war. Now this is based on a local video made by somebody who has a shop in the local shopping centre, and this person is usually brought out on events and stuff like that, and kind of claims to be a midway person between the community and the people, the officials that run the area. So, automatic suspicion in that way, but, they do a good service, but on the other hand, where's this leading to? And other vulnerable members of the community wrapped in Pride flags, which was used as a promotion, which is blatant propaganda, being pushed by who I believe are the globalists who all play the same mainline narratives. So as I say, these are like these agents that are sent into our community, who have a place there to kind of mop up what's gone on with what I believe that the globalists are doing, displacing people in their countries, and they're all coming over into the UK. And now Islam is another thing that they're using in schools and stuff like that to peddle more of their propaganda, to change communities and make people play the mainline narrative, which has nothing to do with anyone that's normal, in society, that's a basic person that's going through their lives A to B. They're not affiliated with any of these services, that hand over the funding or whatever. So V2K are playing about with my voice, making me look mad. And these community-based charities are set up to catch the vulnerable, especially from the Ukraine. This to me looks absolutely absurd, growing up on my housing estate all my life. We never had this kind of thing before. People are too busy here just getting on with their life, as I said earlier. As most are poor around here, but there are a lot of Ukrainian people moving here, and also Japanese, I noticed lately. Also, like most places that are offering services here, you cannot get jobs unless your services are for free, and that's happened with most of my life, that I've shown good promise to people and I've never been employed, and that's because I think they want to keep honest people like myself out, because there are corrupt goings on. There may not be so much with the people that are doing, but there are definitely is the higher up the hierarchy that you go that are controlling this stuff. The average person is treated like an outsider, such as myself, who is kept at a distance, even though many of us can offer a lot of talent, crafting, general help, we are kept out, and an alliance of like-minded individuals, usually from the middle upper classes, are banded together to form these little circles of tightly knitted people in the know. Such as a local church, for instance, who is more or less on my doorstep, which is like a 5-minute walk. Both my brother and myself are talented musicians and would have musical events, these churches, at lunchtimes and evenings, which they would only feature their in-crowd, which were generally from professional level musicians. Anything that was offered to the people of our class usually came at a high price. And I know this church that I was once involved in, they always had like this thing about like pulling from a different era to try and like regenerate a new image for where I'm from. They didn't want to know about the people that were already here with the talent. They just wanted to hark back to like a certain historical time to put that kind of romance on it, and like the area's actually named all these old names, oldie-worldy English names, so they use that as their promotional tool. I can't breathe because V2K are actually pressing down on my chest. Okay, which included a ukulele club where, after doing a 2-hour show as part of a big band shoved to you back with all the favourites at the front, you would have to pay for your own drinks. Note that you could be part of the audience or part of the band or choir, but not an act within itself. And they always dumbed it down so it would never develop, I always tried to kind of get involved to try and get it better, but because I do have that skill to do that, and my brother does as well, but you're always stopped. Always got the impression I was assumed an idiot and wasn't worth featuring. Although my brother was allowed a small cupboard-type room to teach occasionally to some locals, this was never promoted by the church or endorsed. If anything, we were put down. And watching on from the back rows, I'm thinking that we should have been up front there, because we were well capable and had a lot more to say, to be honest, and could put this area on the map. And like, I know that many people, I'm doing an actual documentary, like I'm working with like some people who are mentally ill, and they do have promise, that they're disappointed and probably gone through the same system as us. They're not well revered, they're not counted, but the person who runs this actual place is a guitar club, Martin, I'll give a shout out. He actually phones these people up and just makes sure that they're okay, because like he's a fellow council estate person, and like he's very, very talented and knows how to put these guitars and stuff together, and he uses it as kind of therapy, and even that's like under threat at the moment for funding to justify that it has any effect on the mentally ill, because he's had to like kind of roll it out to other people as well to come. All I'm saying is, if you have children or looking after somebody who's vulnerable, a child that is with a disability is how they are being used to promote this stuff. All these charities are funded by globalists who want to normalise anti-human practices and to make themselves look good at the same time, cause the problem, reaction and solution, as David Icke says. And it seems to me, whilst all other businesses that are independent, that don't play the mainline narrative with the globalists, are going out of business, and only people who are willing to support the globalist propaganda are the only ones that will be springing up. We are heading full on for a Stasi state system, and these could be the informants. If these globalists carry on destroying our communities with mind control and obliterating our independent culture, they're really using sorcery to put on my chest. Matthew 10.16, behold, I am sending you out as a sheep in the midst of wolves, so be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Okay, that's the end.